Hello friends, today's session we are going to discuss in detail the concept of grid computing. Grid computing is becoming a part of the IT industry and is one of the latest trends in IT. This trend is ongoing and will help us with our future needs from the IT industry. The first thing that comes to our mind when we think about a grid is either a square, a matrix or a box. Yes, a grid is a combination of computers or distributed computing. Before we discuss grid computing in detail, let us touch upon the agenda of today's session. The key points on the agenda for today's session are: what is grid computing? We are going to understand in detail aspects related to grid computing, aspects which will make us understand what lies beneath the concept of grid computing. The next point is: what is the need for grid computing? We have several techniques of computing like parallel computing, supercomputing, client-server computing, and cloud computing. Grid also forms one of the niche markets in computing. So what is the need for the grid is going to be discussed in key points and slides under need for the grid. We are also going to understand grid versus supercomputers. Supercomputers are also a type of collective computing. We will look at what is grid computing as well and compare it to supercomputers. The next aspect on our agenda is the current projects and applications that are happening. These aspects will give you a clearer picture and understanding of the grid in action. There are several projects which are running in the US and Europe which are dedicated to grid computing. We will understand in this session what those projects are. A key portion of one of those projects is a project which is running in CERN Europe, which will demonstrate the power of the grid. In fact, we have a lot of slides dedicated in today's session towards the future of the internet, which is a project under the grid. The grid is being developed as a network as well as a project. This project is in fact the future of the internet. The last point that we have here is the grid categories. We will look at several categories of grid computing to make us understand a complete picture of grid computing. In this particular slide, we will look at the video. This video is created through CERN or CERN, which discusses the power of the grid and the grid as the next version to the internet.
The end of the 20th century has seen extraordinary developments in telecommunications and networking technologies, with applications dramatically improving the collaboration between people, sometimes in unexpected ways. In the early 90s, the World Wide Web was created at CERN to help the exchange of documents between particle physicists collaborating in experiments from all over the world. Soon, it exploded to cover every aspect of our lives. Today, scientists are facing another problem: limited computing power. Physicists, biologists, and meteorologists need to run very heavy calculations involving incredible amounts of data. Although computers are becoming more and more powerful, the real needs of breakthrough scientific research still exceed the technological progress. To solve this problem, scientists are developing a new tool, the grid. As the web allows sharing of information over the internet, So the grid will allow sharing of computing power and resources like disk storage, databases and software applications. While one computer may take days or weeks to complete a complex scientific calculation, the grid will make available hundreds or even thousands of collaborative computers and get the same result faster and more efficiently. Once connected to the grid, the user will see it as one large computer system, providing almost infinite computer power. How, in practice, do such grids work? You will enter the grid using a software interface that runs on your computer. After clearing security validation, your computer will be able to talk to the core of the grid, the resource broker. The resource broker will query the information service to know which hardware and software are available to process your program at that moment, and the replica catalog to know the locations of all existing data. Once the appropriate resources have been located, the broker assigns the job to a computing element where it is executed. Most countries have already started significant grid development activities. At the European level, DataGrid is the largest software development project with 21 partner organizations from 15 EU countries and a total of over 200 researchers. The project will set up a production grid using data and applications coming from high-energy physics, environmental science and bioinformatics, building the base of a stable resource that scientists all over Europe will be able to plug into and use. Many other grid-enabled applications are under study in fields closer to our everyday life, like simulation and visualization for surgical procedures, flooding crisis, and weather forecasts. The grid will make it possible for scientific collaborations to share resources on an unprecedented scale, and for geographically distributed groups to work together in ways that were previously impossible.
So friends, I hope this video has reinforced your understanding of the grid and how the grid is going to be the next version of the internet.